Hi, today we're going to be talking about how we developed a kosher meat kolache. I am Brianna Keelan. Also, we'll be presenting Fallon, Brenna, Kyler, Muzil, and Skylar. So, what is kosher? Kosher is a diet that follows Jewish dietary laws that regulate how and what food and drink are consumed. Our target audience is Jewish or people who are seeking healthy food alternatives. If that's what they want as a healthier lifestyle, this is a great diet to follow. There are 3 food categories with various standards and rules attached to them, such as parev, meat and dairy. Food can be either kosher, which means consumable, which there's a couple symbols that mark that, or trife, which means unfit or not kosher, which is unconsumable. Hi, my name is Fallon. To list for the kosher laws that tell us what are permitted and not permitted, number 1 is allow birds and animals, but that doesn't mean all birds. Prohibited of consuming blood of meat and poultry. And then number 3, complete separation of milk and meat. And then prohibition of certain grains at Passover, which is the religious festival celebrating the Exodus, where bread is unleavened. Some of the kosher birds that you can eat would be the ducks, chickens, and turkeys. And then animals that you cannot have would be the pigs, rabbits, kangaroos, and then other vultures, eagles, owls. Um, those animals, they don't chew cud or doesn't have a split in their hooves. I'm Brenna, and some of the equipment requirements needed to make a kosher kolache are going to be some of your standard kitchen ingredients like a bowl, spatula, just normal cooking stuff. And then as far as ingredients go, there's some specific ingredients that are required for this since it is kosher, such as L-cysteine, mono, and diglyceride, gelatin, and flavoring oils.
I'm Skylar, and for the kolache bread and dough, we can ensure all ingredients are used in kolache bread that are like flour, water, yeast, salt, and any added sugar or oil are certified kosher by a recognized authority. Since kosher dietary laws prohibit mixing meat and dairy, the bread must be parev if the filling contains meat. The yeast or other leavening agents must be certified kosher as well. It is important to note that fermentation happens in a clean, kosher environment. We also can't forget that all utensils, baking sheets, mixers, and ovens must be designed for kosher use to be sure they have not been in contact with non-kosher substances. And then for our dough, we could use some water-based dough, which is a great kosher alternative. And then for our bread control points, all ingredients once again must have reliable kosher certification before use. And we want to prevent cross-contamination and avoid any contact between the bread ingredients and any non-kosher substances. Use equipment that has been kashered, and a member of the Jewish faith must start the oven. And we must monitor dough preparation and mixing process to ensure dough remains parev.
I'm Kyler, and for the meat, we have to make sure that the beef must be purchased from a reliable supplier with a kosher, which is a kosher certification. If we use whole cuts, we have to make sure that the meat is from a kosher animal, such as like cattle or lamb, and has been slaughtered according to the Sheshta, which is the Jewish law. If we use ground beef, we have to ensure that it's kosher certified and has been ground in a kosher facility. We have to make sure that we have to make sure to check the meat for any blemishes or any signs of disease, as kosher law requires inspection for this. We have to rinse and soak the beef in cold water for about 30 minutes to remove any and all blood, and then after soaking it, we have to drain the water and sprinkle the meat with kosher salt and seasonings. And when it's set out for about an hour, the salt will soak up any remaining blood that's left in the meat. For the control points, we have to make sure the beef is sourced from a reliable supplier that provides the certified kosher meat. We have to make sure that it has a Hersher, which is once again a kosher certification. Verify that the beef has been slaughtered according to kosher law, which is the sheshta. Make sure that it's slaughtered by a qualified shostet, which is a ritual slaughterer. And to make sure that the meat has been inspected for any signs of disease or improper handling, as kosher beef should be free from any non-kosher contaminants. We have to make sure that the blood is properly drained from the meat, which is typically done through kosher methods such as soaking and salting. Ensure that no dairy products are used in the preparation of this kolache if the beef is involved, as mixing meat and dairy is prohibited in kosher dietary laws. And we have to make sure to use a kosher certified kitchen or equipment that is designated, such as cutting boards, utensils, and cooking surfaces that come into contact with non kosher foods.
My name is Muzil, and the first step in actually making your kolache is disinfecting all your cooking supplies and utensils, so such as forks, baking sheets, and knives. And then after that, you want to actually prepare your ingredients. So you want to get your bread of choice and your meat as well as seasonings or anything else you're using. And then you actually want to assemble the kolache. So you want to put the meat in between the bread and then just get it ready to put in the oven. And then you actually want to set the oven to 375 degrees and then let the kolache cook for 25 to 30 minutes. And then once it has cooked, you want to let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes so it can cool down before consuming.
Okay, so what's the difference between pricing with non-kosher and kosher foods? So for our non-kosher kolache, the beef is going to be about $7.65 per pound, and the kolache breading is going to be about 26 cents. That's 17 cents per ounce, and we're going to be using about 1.5 ounces for each kolache. The seasonings will be $1.64, and the whole set of equipment, the pots and pans, will be about $99.99 for that total of $109.54. Then that kosher kolache is going to set us at $13.99 per pound for the beef. The kolache breading is going to be 93 cents. That's 62 cents per ounce. And then the same 1.5 ounces for each kolache. The seasoning is going to be about $2.19. And because we do have to have two sets of equipment, one for that dairy and one for that meat product, it is going to be double the price for $199.98 for that total of $217.09. Even though it is a little bit more pricey, it is worth it if that is your lifestyle and living choice. So some ways to identify if a food is kosher or not is the most common way is if there's a U with a circle around it, as indicated in the right-hand corner. That's the most common way to tell. All food companies are required to label if their food is kosher. As you can see in the middle picture, that's another symbol for that product being kosher. These are our sources. Thank you.